Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from the city, the state, our country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, and suggestions. All this information we try to put to good use to better connect with each other and with our city, Puerto Vallarta, as a community of English-speaking locals. It is a pleasure to get together with you every day, and today is no exception. It is Thursday, December 29th, and I see that some friends are still recovering from yesterday's headlines. Luisa says, we are getting food drop from the heavens with the new drones. Well, I would not stand outside waiting because I don't think that's going to happen just yet. Anyhow, we particularly welcome those of you who are watching live for the first time. If that is your case, if you at the comment new, we will be so happy to give you a nice little welcome. And if there's an important comment that you wish to share with all of us, or one that we shouldn't miss during the comment section, just add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. Today, it's a bit of a wash. There's not a lot of news, but I have great stories to tell. Yesterday was a day full of fun and excitement. I had a great lunch with Amy Armstrong. Then I went over to visit a new wine bar, and then I went over to visit a new restaurant to have dinner with friends. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. This all happened not even in Versalles. It all happened in Versalles, but it all happened in a very small section of Colonia Versalles that is really thriving as a restaurant destination. I mean, the whole neighborhood the whole Colonia is, but this one corner of Colonia Versailles is going crazy with the number of options that you have available. So we'll have a few photographs to share with you, so stick around. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. The city has once again confirmed that there will be no trash collection on January 1st, so kindly hold on to your junk until the following day if you usually take your trash out. Then there's this question as to whether the new airport in Mexico City, is it safe enough for President Biden? As you know, Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and U.S. President Joe Biden are heading to Mexico City for a leader summit, which is hosted by Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. And of course, there is a brand new airport near Mexico City, the Felipe Ángeles Airport, that President López Obrador has been pushing as this was his pet project. So love notes were sent to the northern leaders for them to consider landing there as a gesture of friendship. And Justin Trudeau has confirmed that his plane will be landing at the new airport. But is it safe enough for President Biden? We don't know, but the Secret Service is presently checking it out. Now, you're probably wondering why this is important for President Lopez Obrador? Well, as I said before, the airport is his baby. And should President Biden choose to land at the Benito Juarez International Airport, where everybody has landed for many, many years until the new airport was inaugurated, then President Lopez Obrador fears that the perception will be that the new Mexico City airport is unsafe, poorly executed, and distant from Mexico City. Well, we already know, and this is a fact, the new airport is further away from Mexico City. I think it's like an hour and a half to get from the airport to Mexico City than the old airport, which is right in the middle of the city. So whether it is unsafe or poorly executed, I couldn't tell you, and we'll keep an eye on this one as it could have interesting political repercussions for our president. And with that said, we are going to move ahead into the weather forecast. Oh, it's partly smurfing cloudy. What do you want me to do about it? Asks our snarky weatherman. Wow, humidity is continuing to be so low. 36% humidity. Our temperature right now is 26, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 78. Our weather forecast for today says partly cloudy through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, Friday, we begin the weekend with a clear day, a high of 29 and a low of 19. And on Saturday, we'll have another clear day with a high of 29 and a low of 20. So these are the news, although I have a couple of things that I want to tell you about as well. If learning how to dance traditional Cuban style salsa is on your list of New Year's resolutions or your bucket list for the coming year, you are in luck, as Bodeguita del Medio on the Malecón, a very well-known Cuban restaurant here in Puerto Vallarta, has a series of ongoing dance lessons that take place at the restaurant from 7:30 to 8:30 in the evening. And the nice thing about La Bodeguita, and I don't know if this is actually part of the lessons, is that La Bodeguita features a live band. So I cannot say this for certain, but you could be learning how to dance salsa with a live band at the same time. For more information, feel free to explore the Facebook event that I'll leave in the show notes for you. And also the series of classes, conferences, and lectures offered by Joint Co-working Hotel across from Encanto is continuing to thrive. Among them, a new air fryer class has been scheduled for January 21st. This one is focusing on seafood. So if you, like myself, don't know much about air frying, or maybe you've just purchased an air fryer and would like to learn more about how it can be used, this may be a class that you may actually enjoy. And once again, the New York Times volunteers 5 classical music albums that you can listen to right now. You click on the link and you have a great description of these new albums, and then you can actually listen to the tracks right on the article. This is a little tidbit that we like to feature here on an ongoing basis from the New York Times. So I would like to tell you of how my afternoon went yesterday, because it includes a lot of fun information that you may want to know more about. First of all, I started having lunch at Whiskey Kitchen with Amy Armstrong, and she tells me that she's so excited about her shows, and we even talked about the possibility of a group of us from Coffee and Headlines going to watch the show together at some point. So if that is something that you would be interested in, please feel free to write the word Amy by itself in a comment, and that'll give me a sense as to who would like to tag along. I know that a few people have already scheduled an outing, and that's lovely too. But if there's enough interest, then we can try to put something together and go and cheer her together as a group. She also found out about our upcoming meet and greet, which will take place on January 20th, and she's going to be there to join us, which makes me very exciting. And of course, even before Amy showed up at the restaurant, who did I bump into at Whiskey Kitchen but our very own Sherry Cooper, who I had the pleasure of meeting for the first time in person after almost 3 years of watching. Sherry has been with us from the very, very beginning. Our friend Gigi Gignac from La Cruz de Guanacaxle was there, and we met for the first time. So this first part of the afternoon was just full of fun and joy and laughter and a couple of interesting cocktails. So if you hear that my voice is a little whiny, it's because there was a lot of wine consumed yesterday afternoon, but that's just me. After having lunch at Whiskey Kitchen, I headed out directly to my next destination, which was La Bodega de Tony, my wine purveyor friend Tony Mora's new wine bar and shop. I will go into details of my visit, and I had a lovely visit there with my friend Eric. I will go into the details of the visit tomorrow, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about this. This is a brand new wine bar and tapas bar and a wine shop located at the corner of España and Hamburgo streets, right in this section of Versalles, which I will show you in a map in a second. And that was destination number 2. We had a great time there. More details tomorrow. And then I was headed to the brand new El Jardín de la Versalles, which is an alfresco dining space that just opened about a week ago, where you can enjoy treats from 3 different businesses packaged as one. I will also tell you more details about this visit tomorrow, but I'll tell you now that this new space is located at the corner of Yugoslavia and Avre streets. And now let me show you these 2 locations on the map so that you can get a sense as to what we're talking about. Here's a map of this general section of Versalles. You're looking at Calle Francia here, which is, one of the most popular streets. You're looking at Vienna Street, which is another important connector. And if you're looking at all these little food icons, this gives you a sense as to all the many different eateries that are already available and on the Google map, which is what I'm referencing here. So here is where La Bodega de Tony is located. That's the place where I started. And here is where El Jardín de la Versalles is located. And here is the path that I walked getting from one place to the other. Now, I was not really planning on doing a walking tour, but I did take a bunch of snapshots of the things that I saw along the way that caught my attention. And we start with La Bodega de Tony itself. I wanted to give you a sense as to the fact that not only can you sit inside and it's lovely and air conditioned, but you can also enjoy sitting right on the sidewalk. And this is becoming a very recurring theme in the Versalles dining experience. So this is the experience right outside of La Bodega de Tony. Then walking down España Street, the first thing you see is La Tosca, pictured here on the left, and then La Sonorita, pictured on the right. Obviously, La Tosca is an Italian restaurant, and Sonorita offers tacos and all kinds of meat cuts. Then further down on the same block is Barrio Bistro, which we know and we love, and it is arguably the restaurant that started the whole craze of restaurants in Colonia Versalles. We recall that Barrio Bistro opened, oh my gosh, I think it's like 10 years ago, if not longer. And at the time, it was just a tiny house converted into a restaurant. We all used to think, who's going to come all the way out here where there's nothing else to do? And 10 years later, or however many years later, this is the restaurant that started it all. Right across the street from Barrio Bistro and brand new is La Tatema, which is a place that offers mezcal and artisan bites. This is right across the street from Barrio Bistro. Next to La Tatema is Cenizas, which means ashes, although it's spelled funny. They spelled it with Z's, and maybe that's the way it is spelled. I don't know. It just looks funny on the ad. Anyhow, This is a brand new grill house. It looks really, really beautiful. I took two shots of this one just for you to get a sense as to the inside ambience. We can see on the background of this photo that they have a nice wine selection, and there were people sitting outside. Given the choice of sitting inside or outside, many people are choosing al fresco because it's really nice out in the evening if you want to go out and have a nice bite. So that is that one stretch of that block in España Street. Right at the corner, though, right next to the steakhouse, is La Tosca. Um, no, oh, that's the wrong sign. My bad. That is not La Tosca en Sonorita. This is called B322 barra 322 barra 322 barra 322. And this is a fancy cocktail place with fancy prices, or so I've heard. I haven't even been there. So this is not called La Tosca en Sonorita as the slide says. And then right around the corner, we're now on Francia Street, there's La Crepa, which is a place where you can get crepes. And across the street from that is Proyecto Hamburguesa, or Hamburger Project. And I remind you, we have barely walked more than a block, and we've already gone through all these eateries. And then I was walking down Francia Street, and and I found that, well, the two Greek restaurants have been there for a while. One is Mykonos, and the other one, I forget the name, the Greek Restaurante, which is up here. But right in between them, there's a new Huaraches and Quesadillas place called Huaraches and Quesadillas Yesi. And then I got to my destination, which was El Jardín de Versalles, which actually has two entrances. One is on the Yugoslavia Street side, and the other one is on the Abre Street side. I learned all kinds of wonderful things about this new eatery yesterday while I was having dinner with some friends. And again, I will share all those details with you tomorrow. But I just wanted to give you, again, a sense of what it's like to choose to go out and have dinner in Colonia Versalles these days. Mind you, this is only one section of Colonia Versalles. There are other nooks and crannies within our neighborhood that have great eating options. And some of you might be wondering, well, is this starting to replace Emiliano Zapata? And the answer is no, and we are so grateful for that, and I'm going to tell you why. The big difference between sauntering around Emiliano Zapata and sauntering around Versalles is that if you're walking around Emiliano Zapata, there is a huge choice of shops, bars, boutiques, art galleries, and so on. So you can make it a day or an afternoon. You can spend a lot of time over there, whereas in Colonia Versalles, it continues to be a destination only for dining. And this is something that, in my humble opinion, is a huge blessing, because for other types of businesses to start coming into the neighborhood, then the neighborhood might lose its residential charm if it hasn't already lost it with so many restaurants. But the bottom line is, for better or worse, there's not much to do in Colonia Versalles other than to get here from other areas, enjoy your dinner, and then leave. So I personally like it that way, and some people might think of it differently, but the bottom line is, if you want a great dining experience outside of the tourist area, Versalles is really, or has really become a great dining destination in our city. With that said, let us jump over to your comments just to see who I see some comments. I saw some comments at passing by about experiences at some of these restaurants. And before we actually get into the comments, I want to remind you that we have our very own Versalles for Foodies map and guide to great eateries in Versalles and surrounding areas. We've now collected almost 40 restaurants in the guide, and these are restaurants that I've had the pleasure of visiting. that I've had the pleasure of enjoying. And of course, we continue to add more and more restaurants to the guide. The guide is free to access. It used to be a members only perk, but we changed that a few months ago. You can enjoy it from your phone, you can enjoy it from your laptop or your tablet or your computer at home. And I'll make sure to leave a link to our guide to restaurants in Versalles for you to enjoy. Now, your comments. Let's see what everybody's about. Thank you for indulging my stuffy nose this morning. Lots of good mornings. Lots of good mornings. And yes, indeed, there you were, Sherry. I love your hair. I love your hair. I wish I had hair like Sherry Cooper, but it's not meant to be. Let's see what else. Genius broadcast yesterday. Yes, thank you very much. We received a lot of comments about yesterday's Dia de los Inocentes. I had a lot of fun putting it together. Let's see what else we have. Spencer says, I'm ready for another prank. Maybe not. Yeah, no, only pranks on one day. That one day a year. That's what we do. Let's see what else we have. I love these two comments back to back. I love sitting outside Bodeguita and watching all the great dancers. And Sean quickly says, go inside, buy a drink, and dance too. Absolutely. It is a really festive mood in there. And the live music, the really talented musicians. Then I see a bunch of you saying, Amy, 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 which is my signal to think of a great date for all of us to try to get tickets. Maybe we'll be able to get a discount. I don't know if there's enough people that want to join, but we'll definitely make this a goal for the month of January. Let's see what else we are. There's Gigi, who I had the pleasure of meeting in person yesterday for the first time. I love making these connections when I am out and about. Then remembers the first time we went to Barrio Bistro, the street was gravel and sand alley, and there were only about 10 tables total. We ate at tables on the gravel. Well, yes, things have changed a lot on that block of España Street. It is absolutely beautiful. We have good feedback from Sean about cenizas. Cenizas is wonderful. They have, oh my God, grilled bone marrow as an appetizer. I love bone marrow. I definitely want to check that place. Janice also has a favorable report on cenizas. Very good. Was there a couple of weeks ago, and I definitely will go back. Excellent service, food and drinks. Thank you for that recommendation, Janice. I'll add it to my list of new restaurants to explore. I very much appreciate that feedback. Let's see what else we have. Thank you for that. It escaped my head. Opa is the name of the other Greek restaurant on Francia. Kathy and I push by it frequently. And of course, for those of you that don't know, push is meant literally as lovely Dan makes it a point to push Kathy's wheelchair wherever they go. And they go everywhere in the city. If anyone has any questions about handling Puerto Vallarta on a wheelchair, I tell you, Dan and Kathy are the most experienced that I've ever met, and they are so lovingly willing to share their experiences with anyone that has questions. And they're my friends too. I love you guys both very, very much. Monica says, we now call this area Restaurant Row. I am so sorry to hear that, Monica, because every time, with all due respect, every time an English nickname is added to a Mexican city, a little part of my heart breaks a little bit, but that's just me. But it is Restaurant Row because there's a lot of restaurants in a row. I just hope the name doesn't become very popular as such. Mark says, Versailles is reminding me of Paris with all the wonderful eateries in easy walking distance. Absolutely, Mark. Those of us that live in this general neighborhood make it a blessing. Mind you, it is very difficult for restaurants that are not air conditioning able to make it during the summer months. It's a lot warmer. Sometimes it rains, but hopefully all of these restaurants, if not most of them, will either get ready for the summer in time, or maybe they will close for a couple of months and come back in the fall. But right now, it is a great time to go and enjoy dinner here in Versalles. Let's see. Doug has another suggestion nearby on Berna Street, Gelato MX7. Again, there's so many places right now. I haven't checked this one, Doug. I will add it to my list. This was just a little snapshot of a small little section. There's also a brand new Asian roll place beside the Matela Mezcal Bar. I tell you, it's all these restaurants. Let's see what else. Have had dinner at lots of the Versailles restaurants you mentioned. Great experience. Thank you for that. Making me hungry, says Liz. That makes two of us. Oh, Gigi, thank you very much for that. We did get started right when we had no fracking clue of how to resolve COVID. And I remember some of those early broadcasts in which we were all full of fear and uncertainty. And while it was not the best of circumstances, I think it brought us together as a community in a beautiful way that I continue to be grateful for. Suzanne says it's going to the restaurants in Versailles is better than going down all the construction in El Centro. Well, I hear you. Then again, I'm spoiled because I live within walking distance of all these places. But if you don't live in El Centro or Emiliano Zapata and you were looking for great dining choices, you could go to Emiliano Zapata, you could probably go to Marina Vallarta, or you could go to Versalles. So it is nice that there are great options all over the place. And this, I think, brings us to the end of today. We have one more broadcast for the year tomorrow, Friday. As you know, I've asked for license to take Saturday off. That would be December 31st. So we will be back here tomorrow with details about these two eateries, El Jardín de la Versalles and my friend Tony's new wine bodega. And we'll have other news, hopefully, to share with you. And that'll be, of course, tomorrow. And after that, we'll see each other in the new year. Yay! Have a great day. Stay happy, stay kind, stay safe. Carry your face mask. They're not going away. And I'll see you again soon.